Most people believe their income is determined by a set of external, tangible factors. The quality of their education, the industry they work in, the economic climate, plain luck. These elements certainly play a role in the complex equation of financial success. We are taught from a young age that a better degree leads to a better job, and a better job leads to a higher salary. We see headlines about market booms and busts, reinforcing the idea that our fortunes are tied to forces far beyond our individual control. This perspective is logical, comforting, and widely accepted. It frames the pursuit of wealth as a game played on an external field, where the rules are set by others and success depends on navigating the given landscape effectively. The problem with this view is not that it is entirely wrong, but that it is dangerously incomplete. It overlooks the single most powerful variable in your financial life. Decades of research in behavioral psychology and economics reveal a startling truth. Your biggest financial limit is not found in your bank statement, your resume, or the stock market ticker. It is invisible, it is silent, and it is entirely self-imposed. This limit is a complex architecture of beliefs, assumptions, and internal rules that you have built over a lifetime. Beliefs, assumptions, internal rules. These mental constructs operate quietly in the background, shaping your decisions and capping your potential long before opportunity ever has a chance to knock. This essay is an analytical journey into the architecture of those self-imposed limits. We will not be exploring get-rich-quick schemes or market timing strategies. Instead, we will operate like financial psychologists, dissecting the deeply ingrained beliefs that dictate your relationship with money. We will examine the quiet narratives that tell you what you are worth, what is possible, and what is permitted. This is about understanding the cognitive constraints that cause you to self-sabotage, hesitate on opportunities, and unconsciously steer yourself away from greater financial well-being. The goal is to make the invisible visible, to bring these silent governors of your income out into the open where they can finally be questioned. Our investigation will follow a clear structure. First, we will identify the most common and damaging beliefs that quietly cap income, from the idea that money is inherently corrupt to the fatalistic notion that wealth is simply not for you. We will then explore how these beliefs manifest in real-world behaviors, creating feedback loops that reinforce your financial status quo. Finally, and most importantly, we will outline evidence-based methods for dismantling this invisible ceiling. By the end, you will have a clear framework for auditing your own mindset and beginning the crucial work of building wealth not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Your financial ceiling is not fixed. It is a belief, and beliefs can be changed. Before we can analyze specific beliefs, we must first understand what these internal rules truly are. Think of them as the mind's operating system, a set of background programs running silently at all times. These are your cognitive constraints, assumptions, heuristics, mental models. They filter your perception of the world and guide your behavior. They are not conscious decisions you make in the moment. Rather, they are the deep, underlying architecture of your decision-making. This internal framework is constructed piece by piece, often without your awareness, starting from your earliest experiences. Parents, what they said or didn't say about money, the financial climate of your youth, the cultural narratives you absorbed. All of those contributed to this blueprint. This mental architecture functions like a set of governors on an engine. It dictates the acceptable range of your ambitions, your reactions to risk, and your definition of what is possible for someone like you. If your rule set says taking financial risks is foolish, you'll unconsciously shy away from investment opportunities, even if logic and data suggest a high probability of success. If a core belief is, people in our family work for a steady paycheck, they don't start businesses, you might dismiss a brilliant entrepreneurial idea before it ever fully forms. These rules create a comfort zone, not just for your actions, but for your very thoughts, silently walling off entire fields of financial possibility. One of the most critical insights from modern psychology is a simple but profound one. Beliefs shape behavior before logic ever gets a chance to intervene. We like to think of ourselves as rational beings, carefully weighing the pros and cons of a financial decision before acting. Your logical brain is often just a passenger, tasked with justifying a destination the belief system has already chosen. Consider a simple, everyday example. Imagine two individuals are offered the exact same high-paying job, which requires moving to a new city. The first person holds a core belief that stability is the ultimate security. Their mind will immediately focus on the risks, leaving a familiar network, the uncertainty of a new role, the potential for failure. Their logical mind will then get to work, finding articles about the high cost of living in the new city and the stress of relocation. The second person believes that growth only happens outside the comfort zone. Their mind will instantly gravitate toward the opportunity, the chance to learn new skills, expand their network, and accelerate their career. Their logic will then seek out success stories and data on the city's vibrant economy. This pre-selection process happens in milliseconds and is almost entirely automatic. It explains why two people with identical intelligence and information can arrive at polar opposite financial decisions. Their conclusions are not a product of pure analysis. They are a product of what their underlying beliefs permitted them to analyze in the first place. A belief that you are not a numbers person will cause you to feel anxiety when looking at a financial report, leading you to avoid it, thus reinforcing the belief that you are bad with numbers. Logic is not the king. It is the court lawyer, hired to argue the case that belief has already decided. You must go upstream. You must address the source, the system of beliefs that dictates the flow of your thoughts, feelings, and ultimately, your actions. Of all the beliefs that quietly cap our income, perhaps the most pervasive and insidious is the idea that money, at its core, is evil. This is the deep-seated cultural narrative that equates wealth with corruption, greed, and moral decay. These stories create a powerful, unconscious association. To be good is to be without money, and to be wealthy is to have compromised one's soul. This psychological phenomenon is known as moral contamination bias. It's the tendency to believe an object can be tainted by association with something immoral. The tool becomes inseparable from its worst user. This bias causes an internal conflict for anyone striving for financial growth who also values being a good person. This internal friction is not just philosophical, it has tangible financial consequences. It creates resistance to the actions required to build wealth. You might have a brilliant business idea, but you delay writing the business plan. Seeking investment feels dirty or overly ambitious. But for someone who equates money with moral compromise, the moment is tainted with guilt or dread. This hesitation is self-sabotage. Your subconscious hits the brakes to protect you from a perceived moral threat. So you opt for the safer path, letting money sit in a low-yield savings account where it is slowly eroded by inflation. You reject pay raises by not asking. You avoid lucrative opportunities by telling yourself they're not for you. You turn down the volume on your potential because you're afraid of the moral static of success. Stop seeing money as a measure of character and start seeing it for what it truly is, a neutral tool. Money is a form of stored energy. It funds hospitals, it builds schools, it supports scientific research that saves lives, it allows individuals to care for their families and support their communities. By choosing to remain financially limited out of a misplaced sense of virtue, you are not making the world a better place. You are simply reducing your own capacity to have a positive impact on it. To make this new belief concrete, begin a simple but powerful journaling exercise. Every day for a month, write down 5 completely neutral, factual statements about money. Avoid any statement with a moral or emotional judgment. You are training your brain to strip away the decades of negative emotional and moral associations it has built up. Pursuing wealth no longer feels like a walk toward the dark side. Instead, it becomes a practical, rational pursuit of a resource that can empower you to live a more secure, generous, and impactful life. The doors to opportunity that you once saw as morally hazardous now appear for what they are: simple entry points to a better future. After the moral condemnation of wealth, the second great belief that caps income is more personal and perhaps more destructive. It is the quiet, resigned whisper. Wealth is for other people, but not for me. A party they believe they'll never be invited to. Learned helplessness happens when a person endures repeated adverse situations they can't control. Eventually, they stop trying to change their circumstances, even when escape or improvement is possible. In finance, this can come from growing up in poverty, a string of job losses, or systemic barriers that thwart ambition. That collective echo chamber strengthens your internal belief until it feels like objective fact. The most prominent symptom is a drastically shortened time horizon. When you don't believe a prosperous future is possible, there is no psychological incentive to plan for it. This mindset drives immediate gratification and short-term survival. The primary goal becomes getting through the week or month with almost no mental energy for the next decade. That shortened time horizon shows up as avoidance of financial planning. Your finances happen to you, like the weather, not something you direct and control. Ultimately, these behaviors form a feedback loop that reinforces the belief. The belief creates the behavior produces the results, and the results cement the belief. Think in decades, not weeks. Engage the mathematical power of compounding, a force on long timelines, indifferent to past failures or current circumstances. Do tiny actions, done with absolute consistency. Automate a tiny investment. $10 a week into a low-cost index fund. Amount doesn't matter, behavior does. Succeed once, a tiny spark of agency. Repeat next week, repeat the week after. The sparks become a flame. Gather tangible evidence against the old belief. Prove through action you are not helpless, that your effort is not futile. A long timeline lets you zoom out. It builds resilience to ignore dramatic headlines and stick to your strategy. It replaces short-term anxiety with long-term patience. Our beliefs are active agents, constantly seeking to prove themselves right. This drive creates a self-confirming feedback loop. It begins with an invisible belief. I'm not good at managing large sums. That belief shapes your behavior. An opportunity appears. You feel anxious and overwhelmed. Anxiety leads to procrastination, leaving money in a low-yield account, or making a hasty, ill-informed choice to escape the discomfort. Those behaviors lead to suboptimal results. Your mind reads the outcome as proof of the belief. See, I knew I wasn't good with money. Break the loop by interrupting behavior. Changing belief by thought alone is hard. So choose actions that contradict the belief, even if uncomfortable. If you think you're bad with money, schedule 30 minutes each week to review finances. Those actions generate new data. Small, different results create fresh evidence. Compounding the self-sabotage loop is a powerful external force, the comparison trap. We compare our behind-the-scenes reality to the public victories of millions of strangers. This creates a profoundly distorted perception of what is normal and achievable. First, it continually moves the goalposts of satisfaction. Your sense of accomplishment evaporates, replaced by a feeling of inadequacy. Second, and more insidiously, comparison destroys clarity. When you are constantly looking at what others have, you lose sight of what you truly want and need. First, you must reclaim your metrics for success by setting intensely personal, metric-based goals. These goals are immune to the comparison trap because they are absolute and personal. The second prong, enforce strict comparison limits through digital hygiene. Take active control over your information intake. This isn't hiding, it's creating a mental environment for growth. Stop looking sideways. Look forward with clarity and conviction down the path you chose. Breaking this ceiling is not a single dramatic breakthrough. It's a systematic process of psychological renovation. The first and most critical step is a thorough belief audit. The goal is to drag subconscious scripts into the light of conscious examination. Then they can be questioned. Then they can be challenged. Then they can be rewritten. Ask yourself targeted questions. What phrases did your parents use about wealth or rich people? Rich people are, money is. I'm not the kind of person who could ever identify a core belief. Now challenge it like a detective. Where did this belief come from? Is it universally true? Find counter evidence. Final step. Test a new, empowering belief. Old, risk is irresponsible. New, calculated risk is essential for growth. Make it real with a small, low-stakes action. This action is a real-world experiment. It generates new data. It creates a new emotional experience. The path forward, then, is clear. The project of building wealth is not an external pursuit, but an internal one. It begins not with a stock tip, but with a question. You must have the courage to ask, what are the invisible rules that govern my financial life? What beliefs have I stopped questioning? It starts with the rigorous audit of your beliefs. Consciously extend your time horizon and build habit scaffolds, daily rituals of journaling, micro-investing, and learning. Your financial ceiling is not set by intelligence or circumstances. It's set by beliefs you've accepted without question. The most profound investment is not in a stock, a bond, or a piece of real estate. It's the investment in deconstructing your limiting beliefs and building an empowering mindset. Wealth creation is an inside-out job. Now is the time to begin construction. Question the invisible rules that have shaped your life. In your ability to change them lies the key to your financial freedom.